It was Christmas time in London, and there was a man named Ebenezer Scrooge. He was a hard-working man, but at the same time he was a miserable, greedy, cruel, and stingy person who didn't know what generosity meant. A day before Christmas, Scrooge and his clerk, Bob Cratchit, were working in his office. Scrooge, as always, was counting his money, while Bob was counting the minutes to go home to his family.
I am so cold in this office, but Mr. Scrooge won't turn on the heater. He thinks it wastes too much money.
Suddenly the front door opened, and Mr. Scrooge's nephew came inside.
Merry Christmas, Uncle!
Christmas? Bah. Christmas is only a lie.
You don't mean that, Uncle.
Of course I mean that. Christmas is just an excuse not to work. Besides, what reason do you have to be happy?
What reason do you have to be mad, Uncle? You're so rich. Bah. Don't get mad, Uncle.
Why shouldn't I? I live in a crazy world with fools. Merry Christmas? What is Christmas? It's just a time to pay bills with money you don't have, where you see yourself a minute older and not a minute richer. A time where you buy gifts that you can't afford.
But Uncle...
Nephew, go celebrate Christmas your way, and I'll celebrate Christmas my way.
But Uncle, Christmas is a time for families to get together and spend quality time. It's not about money, it's about peace and love. That's why I always say, blessed be Christmas.
Wow, what a wonderful speech. I'm surprised you don't work for the government.
Don't get angry, Uncle. And come to our house tomorrow for Christmas, where me and my wife are preparing a delicious dinner, and you'll be our special guest.
Thanks, but no.
Why not, Uncle?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Have a nice day.
But Uncle, you never came to our house before.
Have a nice day, Happy New Year, and goodbye.
As you wish, Uncle. And Bob, have a Merry Christmas.
Mr. Scrooge's nephew left the office.
How about that? A clerk who earns a minimal salary with a wife and kids talking about a Merry Christmas? You've got to be crazy.
Sir, I finished copying all the letters and I filed the paperwork. I also brought in more firewood and swept out the ashes, and well, it's closing time, Mrs. Scrooge.
Fine, your work is finished. You can go.
Mrs. Scrooge, tomorrow's Christmas. The day to spend with family.
You'd like the day off, I suppose.
Well, yes, Mrs. Scrooge. After all, it's Christmas.
Christmas? Bah, fine. Take tomorrow off and be here early the next day.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Scrooge.
Scrooge opened the door and Cratchit went home. Then Scrooge returned to his desk to finish his accounts. After a few hours, Scrooge closed his account books and proceeded to close the office. When he got home, he climbed the steps to his bedroom, sat in a chair beside the fire, and started to eat his supper. Suddenly, he heard old bells ringing and a strange loud noise coming from outside.
What's making that noise? I must have fallen asleep.
But the strange noise continued until he saw a ghost coming through the bedroom door.
I figure I'm dreaming.
No, this is not a dream.
I know you. You're Marley. What do you want from me?
I want a lot from you. You see these chains? I'm changing my sins.
What sins? You're a hard worker and a good businessman.
Businessman, I took advantage of people while I was alive. I never learned the value of love and charity. Now I have to wander the earth, unable to find peace. You still have one opportunity to change, and if you don't, the same fate awaits you. Listen well, Scrooge. 3 ghosts will visit you. The first one will arrive tomorrow when the clock strikes 1. Expect the second one on the next night at the same hour. The third one on the next night at the last stroke of the 12th hour.
Then the ghost left the room, floating through the window. Scrooge closed the window and went to bed shaking in fear, then fell asleep. The next day, when the clock struck 1, Scrooge saw a strange creature beside his bed.
Who are you?
I'm the ghost of the Christmas past. Come, get out of bed and come with me.
Ghost took Scrooge through time to a small town which Scrooge started to remember. He then remembered the houses, the church, the river, the bridge, and the people.
They cannot see or hear us. They're just shadows from what has been.
Aw, poor little boy. He looks all alone and forgotten by all of his friends. Poor boy. Now let's see another Christmas story.
Then they arrived to a house.
This house seems familiar. Oh, this is my house where I grew up.
Yes, it is. And do you recognize the little boy sitting alone reading?
It's me, as a child, but why is he alone?
You must know the answer.
Because my parents are working. That's why I was always alone. That's why my Christmas were so sad and lonely.
Come, take my hand. We do not have enough time.
No, I have seen enough. Go away. Don't torture me.
Don't blame me. I told you these were shadows from things that have been.
Take me back.
We have one more stop. We're running out of time.
Scrooge was now a young man who was sitting in a garden beside a lovely young woman. The woman was crying.
I can't marry you, Ebenezer. There is something you love more than me.
Nonsense, I love no other woman.
That is true. You love money. You love it more than anything.
There's nothing wrong in loving money. We got engaged when we were poor, and we were happy being poor.
I hope you're happy with the life you have chosen.
And the woman ran away from the garden. Old Scrooge and the ghost followed her. When she stopped, Scrooge could see that she was a few years older. Children laughed and played at her feet.
Help me with my jacket.
Are those her children?
Yes, but they could have been yours.
The door opened, and a man entered carrying many gifts.
Honey, you brought me presents.
Stop! Take me home!
And Scrooge appeared in his own bedroom.
Thank God it was only a dream.
Then the clock struck.
No, Ebenezer, it was not a dream.
Oh my God. I suppose you're the ghost of Christmas present?
I have much to show you. Now grab onto my robe and let's go.
Then the ghost took Scrooge to Bob Cratchit's house, and standing there at the door, the ghost proceeded to bless the house. Then Scrooge saw Bob Cratchit playing with his children.
Is this where he lives?
Of course, with his salary, this is all he can afford.
They look so poor, their clothes are so old.
Love is what you see here.
Then Mrs. Cratchit entered into the dining room carrying a small turkey on a platter.
He's very sick. His name is Tiny Tim, and his parents don't have money for a doctor, so maybe he will die.
Die? But there must be something that can be done. Please tell me he won't die.
I see an empty chair in the corner. If the future does not change, he will certainly die.
No. No.
What do you care anyway? This will demolish the world population.
At that moment, Scrooge realized that those were his own words, and felt sorry for himself. Then he heard his name.
Thanks to Mrs. Scrooge, we are having this.
Why are you not eating them?
I wish I could thank him personally. Dear children, it's Christmas.
Sweet.
I know, darling. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's have a toast for our Christmas and for Mrs. Scrooge. Merry Christmas and God bless us all.
Meanwhile, it was getting late. The ghost took Scrooge through different places so he could see how people celebrated Christmas. People who nevertheless were poor, as Scrooge used to say. They were happy and enjoyed being together with their family and friends. Suddenly, without warning, they stood in a room.
I know that voice. It's my nephew. He's having a party.
He said Christmas is only a lie.
He should be ashamed.
He's very funny, but not a pleasant person.
Like you said, he was very rich.
So what, darling? His wealth is useless. He doesn't do anything with it.
He didn't come eat with us tonight because he's busy counting his money. Ha ha ha.
He preferred to be angry with us than to have fun with us.
They don't like me.
No, unless the future changes.
How can I change the future?
The room disappeared and they continued their journey. They visited many countries. They traveled to faraway lands. They visited the sick people who felt happy, poor people who felt rich, shelters where people felt hope. It was a long night, and everything happened in just one night. Then, the ghost of Christmas present was gone.
Oh, I'm back in my own bed again.
As he sat up, another ghost floated into the room. He was dressed in black, and a dark hood hid his face.
Who are you? First it was a ghost of Christmas past and the Christmas of present. Now I'm guessing you're the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
The ghost said nothing. He gestured toward the door.
Are you here to show me the future and how I can change it?
Scrooge followed him to the street in front of his office. Two men stood out front, talking and shaking their heads.
I know them. I do business with them. We're friends. These men like me, even though my nephew doesn't. But what are they saying about me?
Poor old Mr. Scrooge.
I know, I felt bad for him.
They told me he's very sick.
Who takes care of him?
No one. You know that. He always likes to be alone.
Yeah, and he has no friends either.
Yeah.
The ghost started to wail, and Scrooge followed him down the street. Then they arrived to a tiny house.
We've been here before. This is Cratchit's house.
There was Mr. Bob Cratchit sitting beside his son. He was very ill.
Why is he crying? The last time I was here, they were so happy.
Mrs. Cratchit came into the bedroom.
Darling, what are we going to do? Did you ask Mr. Scrooge for help? Yes, but he can't help us, but his nephew will. I hope it's not too late. What will we do without our son?
Tell me what's wrong with the little boy. Is he gonna die? What can I do to help him?
The ghost did not answer. Then everything turned dark, and Scrooge appeared in a foggy and cold place. The ghost then proceeded to show Scrooge a grave. Engraved on the headstone was the name Ebenezer Scrooge. Then Scrooge fell to his knees. He begged the ghost to give him a second chance. Then he woke up.
Oh, thank you. I've been given another chance. I don't know what today is or how long I've been with those ghosts, but I feel like a child again, and I don't care. I want to be a child again.